The work that you're seeing around you is a collaborative project between myself, students in the sixth form and the school archive. So what you see against the wood panelling are my own works. There are 4 prints and 8 drawings, and in addition a 13th work which is a mixed media piece, that black piece over there to the right. And amongst them you will also see there are enlarged photographs. These are photographs from our school archive that date to the period of the First World War. These photographs have been photo-enhanced, enlarged and printed up and framed for you to see the people that were involved directly, old Berkhamstedians. And last but not least, you'll also notice that there are student artworks. First and foremost is John T's flag piece, which if you turn very briefly if you're on the pews, is suspended from the gallery. Boys up in the gallery, you'll have to take a moment another time to see that. So there's the one piece there. There are also a selection of works on the steps leading up to the altar. These are also by sixth formers, and all of the sixth form work was submitted to the sixth form art commission last year. So together they're combined as a memorial, our recognition of the sacrifice of many, many millions during the First World War.
What is the Berkhamsted School Art Commission?
Well, the commission is £300 and a month's worth of studio space for any Year 12 student to create a work of their choice. It's completely down to them what they do and what it's made of. And the money is to provide for materials and the hanging of the piece for its eventual place. And this is a really good opportunity for anyone who wants to be a professional artist or photographer or just involved in the arts area, because it really gives them the experience of being a professional for that month.
How does the commission work? As in, how is a student chosen and how do they compete?
Each year, myself and the head of sixth form, Mr. Bond, last year, come up with a theme that we think that the students in Year 12 might be able to respond to. Now, of course, with the centenary this year, we came up with the idea of Berkhamsted School and the Great War. Students are offered that theme in an assembly, and anyone in Year 12, regardless of whether they've studied art at GCSE or currently do photography or art A-level, so absolutely anyone, can contemplate what they might like to make, any kind of artwork, 3D, 2D, photos, whatever, and they submit a 500-word proposal, their concept and the things that are inspiring them, along with some drawings and some links to artists or photographers that they're going to be inspired by. This is submitted after Easter, and then I meet with the head of sixth form and we decide together who we'd like to award the commission to. This year the entrance was so strong, all 5 students really impressed us, that it was a very, very difficult decision to come up with who might receive the £300 commission. John T's in the end picked it. It was a really original concept to make a textile piece. But the other 4 applicants were so strong we decided to award a £100 bursary to each of them. So that bursary went towards their materials and framing costs. And those works you can see leading up to the altarpiece there. There are 3 students in the end that we've got exhibited. So we have 2 pieces by Ellie Skelton, 1 oil painting by Hope Rolfe, and last but not least, at the very top of the steps, you can see just below the altar, is a photo montage by James Castles. And that just goes to show, James didn't study GCSE art, but in the Year 12, he was really excited by the idea, and we thought his idea was superb, so he is also included amongst the exhibition.
What inspired and influenced the work of students this year?
Well, personally I looked at celebration flags as flags of the year, so to move away from a negative aspect of sort of remembering people that have died, it's more celebrating those who fought for our country and were victorious. And so after that initial idea, I figured out the process and decided that I would hand dye the piece, so all the colours are hand dyed, and then hand paint the Berkhamsted crest and applique, the message which itself was inspired by postcards that welcomed people back. And the whole idea was that it could be a community flag that welcomed people from Berkhamsted back into their normal life after fighting such a turbulent war. And then the idea, if you look more closely, there are patches and frayed areas and such that show that it's a decayed piece, it's meant to be 100 years old. And also just to mention that the flag, some of the flags I looked at were from that era, and one is displayed here, which is a naval flag to the side.
So what inspired your work, Mrs. Ferguson?
Well, obviously, like you, I studied history when I was at school. Was very, very moved and shocked. Probably when I was in year 9 when I first encountered the Great War. It stayed with me. Anyone in here that's my generation will know many cultural expressions and responses to the First World War, including films about Gallipoli. Blackadder did a whole series of their programme focusing on the Great War. So it's something that's follows one through one's life, and one thinks about it off and on. I've always wanted to go to Belgium, to northern France, and was very fortunate to be invited by Mr. Saville and Mr. Lyons on their battlefields trip that they run in October. So last October I went through with them on a coach load of kids, looking at the sites, and accompanying us also was Mr. Ferguson, my husband. Now he's a photography graduate, so he was very, very taken by the atmosphere, the light. We were extremely fortunate with the beautiful light that surrounded us every day that we were there. So all the work that you can see that's mine against wood panelling is based exclusively on photographs by Mr. Ferguson. So they really, I hope, will encourage you to think a little bit about the landscape today and cast your mind back and your imaginations to what it might have been like for all of the men that came from all over the world to take part in this conflict. So with that in mind, I'd like to encourage you to do come back. Do spend a moment, if you can, during the school day over the next couple of months, because the exhibition will be in place all the way through till Armistice Sunday in November. This Friday is an opening event, again, to which everyone in the school community is invited, so that's yourselves, your parents, staff. So do feel, if you can, speak to mum and dad, especially if they have a particular interest, or you have relatives that fought, either died or survived the war. Do tell them about the show, and if you have a moment, and they do, on Friday afternoon at 4:30 is the opening event here. So come along, take part in that, and where we will also be taking part in an act of reflection, thinking about the Great War, but also current conflict today.
Thank you.